Summer is in full bloom and so are many garden vegetables, but your tomato plants will need a little more time in the ground.
And tonight's Joseph in the Garden. Joseph Calvin shows us how to keep tomatoes from getting damaged before they're ready for the picking.
We're eating from our gardens now, leafy greens, some peas, cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, and some summer squash. Most of us, though, are still waiting for our first tomato. Today I'd like to talk about our tomatoes. Now, you really don't have to do anything to them after you plant them other than give them lots of water and sunlight, but most of us do. We find all sorts of contraptions to wrap them, to keep them up off the ground. Let's take a look at some of the things that are used here in my community garden at Alton Baker Park. Most people, including myself, use some sort of a wire cage. This wire cage here, though, the openings in the wire is a little small for most tomatoes, so you're going to have to reach down, so make sure it's not too tall. Okay, here's a store-bought version of a tomato cage. It's made for tomatoes. It starts out relatively small at the bottom and then widens as it gets to the top. Here's one made out of wood. This one has made out of cedar posts with little holes drilled in them, and then they use dowels to support the plants. You start at the bottom and you can just put in the dowels as the plant gets taller to support it. Here's another wire one with nice big wire openings. Easy to harvest your tomatoes through these openings so you can make it taller. The hope is that by keeping the tomatoes off the ground, fewer of them will get damaged. Having the biggest or tallest plant doesn't mean you get more or better tomatoes. Once you start to get little green tomatoes forming, you want to cut back on the watering. I cut back to about 1/3 of the water until they get full size. Then I cut back just to once a week watering just to keep the plant from wilting. This will stress the plant a bit and it will put its energy into ripening the fruit and not growing more foliage. I usually get my first tomatoes somewhere around the 1st of August, but by mid-August, I'm giving them away and starting to process them.
Some good tips there.
That, and I love it. This is the perfect time of year when Joseph starts bringing in all these vegetables for us to eat, and he'll leave them in on the break room table, and they're gone so quick.
You just have to run in there and grab them.
Yep. All right.